Hello and welcome back to my place, Dr. Jackie F. DID. As promised, I am starting my new series, which is Walk With Me Through My Journey of DID. I hope that you'll subscribe and continue to return and learn more about dissociative identity disorder. First of all, I will cover some of the things that I've covered in other videos, but I wanted to start off this with a description of dissociative identity disorder, which was known as multiple personality disorder, MPD, when I was diagnosed. This disorder is still to this day controversial for some people. There are some therapists who do not still believe that it is real. I'm here to tell you that it is real. Also that it is curable and that you can live a full and productive life working through DID, as well as having integrated and coming to the end of your work there. I want to refer you to my second video of April 13th, which tells you of my first memory, getting my first alter, how she came to be, and then getting my diagnosis for DID. Rather than me repeating all that again, if you'll just go to that second video and watch that, you'll have that information. Dissociative identity disorder is created as a protective mechanism. It is to help protect us while we're going through the abuse. And the thing about it is once we get to adulthood, a lot of times that is no longer a protection, it's a hindrance because it creates problems for us. That's usually when dissociative identity disorder comes to the forefront and gets diagnosed. But in the meantime, it is caused by severe abuse, whether it's emotional, physical, spiritual, sexual, and it's usually a continued abuse. It's not something that is just a one and done. Although that is very traumatic, it does not end up creating dissociative identity disorder. So it is abuse that is continued, extensive, and yeah. So from there, we learned that the personalities that are created are called alters, as in altered personalities. These are personalities that literally take over the body. So as you're growing up in childhood, when I was growing up, I would feel frustrated a lot of times. I felt sometimes like I was a little bit crazy. I felt uneasy. I felt depressed sometimes. I felt extremely happy sometimes. And I never really understood what was going on with me because I felt really, just kind of awkward and crazy. It wasn't until my diagnosis that I realized that my personalities would come in and help in situations. And this all took place without me even knowing what was going on. It was just who I was then. I mean, I didn't know anything different until I was diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder. And then my life seemed to make a little more sense to me. And I was pretty excited about that. I thought that was pretty neat that I now had a reason for why I was feeling so crazy. But anyway, as you go through this journey, I want to share with you the conflicts, the confusion, the joys that I had through this journey. There were times I wanted to give up. It was just too hard for me. I just couldn't do it anymore. There were times that I just felt like I was crazy and that this was just a life. How did I make it through this life? How did I survive all those things that were abusive to me back from my infancy? And how did I survive? And I just know that the reason I survived is because of my Savior, Jesus Christ, and my trust in him and my faith in him. And I got to tell you that there were times when I said I had had enough, and I told God one time, I said, I have had enough. I can't do this anymore. It's too hard. And I just want it to be over. You know, you created the world. You could certainly take this away from me. And I know that isn't how life works, but at that time, that was how I was feeling. And I was told that when I completed this work, that I would become whole. And I went forward on that faith that that would take place, and it has. And I promise you that if you're going through it, or if you know somebody who's going through DID, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and you will be able to make it through and have a very productive life. At this time, I'd like to read some parts from my book, Multiple Personality, One Woman's Journey from Discovery to Recovery, to help you get some idea of the beginning of my process. So here we go. In the struggle to understand what was going on, wishing for some kind of guide, something to give me hope and understanding, this book has been written. Therapists were just beginning to learn about the condition when I started therapy. It seemed this process was instrumental in me assisting my therapists in their study and learning as a joint endeavor. Therapy was an important part of my healing process for me. It was hard work in therapy, in the sessions, and the work continued at home. Working hard in therapy and at home seemed to help the work move faster. Partly that is true. However, it is important to pace your work and go with your gut feeling to when and what you should do next. Learning to trust in myself and my feelings were a big part of my healing from abuse. Hopefully, as you continue on going through your struggles, you will also come to the integration. If you are a therapist or a counselor, I hope this will give you some insight into what it is like to have dissociative identity disorder, giving you an opportunity to offer greater understanding and compassion to your patients. If you are a friend of a survivor, hopefully this will give you an understanding and sensitivity into what they might be going through, helping you to have more understanding and patience. Be assured they need your love and acceptance. They do not need to be told, get over it, or stop thinking about it, or the very popular one, it's in the past, leave it there. If the past keeps affecting your present, you need to visit the past so you can have a more productive present and future. It is important to the healing process. It is important in the healing process to assist, not put down those who are struggling with this disorder. This disorder is very frustrating for the person who has it as well as the people around them. It is also very controversial. It is a real and painful disorder. Family and friends will have a difficult time with its reality. After living through this disorder, I know it is real. No one gave it to me, and no one created it for me. I believe in you, and if you do it, and if I can do it, so can you. Don't give up the fight. The joy you will attain with integration will be worth every painful and joyful moment. It is important to remember that each survivor will take their own special journey that is right for them. I am sharing this journey in hopes that it might make others a little more bearable and hopeful. There is truly a light at the end of the tunnel. In sharing this discovery of personalities and dealing with them, my hope is for you to better understand yourself. You will explore with me how to learn to love yourself and accept each of the parts of you for what they have to offer you in growth and understanding. Each part holding an important piece of your life's experience in overcoming the fear and learning the next piece that will bring you closer to healing and wholeness. And lastly, multiple personality is also one of the most amazing and unusual mental conditions known. The existence of apparently separate and autonomous altered personalities exchanging control over our individual's behavior elicit intense fascination in some and protests and disbelief in others. And on that note, understand that not everyone is going to be excited as I was when I discovered that I had multiple personality disorder. It made sense in my life, but for other people, it made them scared. It didn't know what to expect. Unfortunately, the media has created um, a lot of falseness around dissociative identity disorder. Multiple personalities have been made comedy. Um, they have made falsehoods like there's one really good one and there's one really bad one, and one's killing and one's happy. No, it's not that at all. There's also the falsehood that you can't be in the world. You can't live a full life with dissociative identity disorder. Not that it doesn't disrupt things, and I will go over that in the future series. But for now, I want you to understand that it is real. You're not crazy. You may feel crazy. I know I did many times, but it is curable. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, and integration is possible. And living a life while you're dealing with dissociative identity disorder is possible. I also want you to remember that you are of great value, and don't ever let your abuse define you. Let it refine who you are. And I hope you will subscribe and join me for um, my next video, which will be about why did this happen in my 30s? Why did DID come to me? And how do you know when your brain has found a safe place? Until then, be good to yourself, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.